Everyday superpower where we talk nonverbal communication, human dynamics, everything in between. I mean, hey, we're not gonna be on the nonverbal tip today. We might touch it, but this is actually I'm gonna break the rules with this one and talk about another verbal communication and style of such, which you will see in your day to day, which I think is worthwhile going into depth about. So I don't know which video will come first, but I just recorded a video based on assessing when somebody starts to speak loud and associating that with a rise in emotion within that person. The audacity of one's voice, the loudness of one's voice, and the expressive nature that comes alongside that. We did a bit of a deep dive on that, but now I'm going to talk about the contrary, okay, which I did touch on momentarily, but you can't really cover one without covering the other. So, as with last time I talked about the meaning of somebody becoming louder verbally, we're going to talk about someone becoming quiet now, verging on whispering as well. Okay, we're going to pass whispering as well, but we're going to talk about becoming quiet, okay, in real time. So we're going to speak on a sudden or sustained decrease in the volume of someone's voice, okay, potentially to the extent where the voice is barely audible. All right, or maybe even audible to selected individuals, okay, in the sense of a whisper, or those whom are close acquaintances per se. All right, as opposed to like a wider audience whom it could actually attract if it was a little bit louder. Yeah, we can call this a hushed voice per se, and in nature, it's a voice that is timid, yeah? Why is it timid? Because it doesn't want to attract attention. Whereas the other voice, the loudness of the voice and the rise in emotion, it is crying out for attention. The internal mechanism of that human is asking for a degree of help or trying to enforce some degree of dominance, or aggression, or whichever in between, or express such fantastic expression of joy and allow people to acknowledge them in that particular moment in time. I mean, even to an extent where when it comes to the loudness, it could be a defensive shield to actually hide the counter opposite. It could be overcompensation. We'll do a video on overcompensation soon, but we're talking about a soft voice. What that soft voice does, what that hush voice does, is it hides away. If it's happening in real time, it could be a psychological flight, if not freeze response. Okay, when somebody is in the room who you don't really like, or you find quite uncomfortable. You feel quite uncomfortable about this person being there. You don't raise your voice or even talk really out of sake of not wanting to engage with this person. I know I personally feel this way. There are a lot of men who I feel uncomfortable around, and a lot of it comes down to tensions in the masculine realm. There's them certain men who they put on a show as to who they are, but the reality of them is they aren't the man they put themselves on to be. And it only takes so much of an engagement with these people for them to see that you know who they truly are, and the vice versa. So there are certain men who I just don't like to talk to or raise conversation with, and the idea of even speaking loud enough to have a response from that person, that is threatening enough to me and my comfort that I can utilize this soft voice, right? So I'm using it in my own life. Yeah, doesn't necessarily. Well, here we go. I'm getting defensive now, saying it doesn't mean you're scared. Blah blah blah. There is a fear involved. I don't want to engage with you. I don't want to bring you into conversation. I have nothing to do with you. You make me feel uncomfortable. So I'm going to isolate myself verbally by creating this hushed voice. And when it comes to that isolation, that does have a direct connection with this vocal tone, because then we speak on whispering. And when you whisper to someone, you create this intimate personal space, right? Where you can share information without the grand tribe knowing. Yeah? Now listen to this, I'll put you on some game. For those interested in seduction and dating and so forth, you can use a soft voice whilst you are dating someone. And what that will do is quite potentially physically bring that person in closer to pay attention. And when I speak of the isolation of the communication with these quiet words, that creates an intimate space and an intimate interaction. Yeah? People pay more attention to your quiet words than they do your loud because they have to really focus and put their hearing ears on to make sense and hear of what you're trying to say. And if that message is a whisper, this is between me and you, this is something personal, this is our secret, that's quiet, a powerful seductive tool, do you not think? Very effective. Very effective. So we've just discussed a couple of particular ways this is used, and I know it might be self-explanatory, but I bet you've not looked or sort of approached this in such depth where you can now identify it from here on and have a little bit of a second thought as to why this is being utilized. Oh, she's become a little bit quieter. Who in this room has provoked that response? And why have they provoked that response? Okay. This could even become in the realms of, if you have a child, right? And your child suddenly gets quiet when a particular figure walks into the room. This is serious business. You need to pay attention and see the language that nobody else sees for the sake of the safety and security of your children, right? Of course. So, talking below the normal range of voice volume relative to that environment can be a message that states, "Don't pay attention to me. Don't notice me." As I said, it could be like a parallel to a physical freeze response, to stop in your tracks and to get out. Well, not necessarily get out of your way, but don't attract attention by diminishing that movement. Yeah. And then the flip side is using that quiet voice to draw someone in to that intimate space, right? So there is a myriad of different reasons, such as keeping secrets, remaining private, creating intimacy, to inhibit drawing attention to yourself. Yeah. Powerful people can utilize this, such as I said, as far as the seductive manner is concerned. It can be a power play to bring people into your personal space, and the law of power is to bring people to you and not go to them. That is why you go to a job interview and they don't come to you, because it's a matter of you needing them more than they need you, right? Come into my space, come into my office. I'm not coming to yours. Come to my house because I don't have the time to go to yours. Do you see? So, with that being said, I'm going to sign out. I hope that that was of some value, and if so, let me know. Click like and subscribe, and check out the links in the description. Peace.